Welcome back to Cabral House Call. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and today on our Friday review, House Call, we're taking your questions submitted on social media and at stephencabral.com/Ask Cabral. So Fridays are really an anything go episode, and we take questions all that we couldn't get to maybe during the week. If your question was submitted and it has not been answered yet, we will get to it. We will get to them next week. It's basically first in is the next one answered. So it just means you might have a few people in the queue before you, but believe me, I get to every single question and I will answer every single question. One thing just to note is that if it wasn't your name before the question, it could just be because someone had a very similar question to you, basically identical, because we get a lot of the same questions. And so just know that we just took one person's name, all right? Just out of a hat. Not one person was more important than the other. All right, first question today is from Pam. Pam asks, you recommend reading books, but I'm a slow reader and I still want to try to get the benefits. So I do. I mean, I love reading, so that might be more of my preference. I'm actually not even a Kindle guy or a iBooks kind of guy. I actually like holding the books. There's something about it. There's something about me holding that book, looking at the print on paper, and being able to absorb that information. And since I've done so much reading, I've just kind of gotten good at the habit of reading. I know the times of the day that I'm going to read, all of those specific things. The joy of seeing those books arrive is exciting for me and gets me wanted to read more. So that is my thing, but that doesn't have to be yours. One thing I do want to mention to you is that you can simply do a lot of the audiobooks. Most of the books I recommend and that are out there are also put on audiobook. And that's one of the really nice things is that you don't have to be a fast reader. You can actually just listen to the books as well. And if I like to do this actually sometimes, I'll listen to things at 1.5 times the speed so that I can get through it faster. I do that with videos and I do it with actually audios as well. So that might be a really nice thing for you. There's a company called, I believe it's audible.com. We'll link it up in the show notes as well. And they actually, I believe they give you a free trial. So I'll put that in the show notes. You can just link to it. And maybe I'll link to a few of my favorites on Audible as well so that you can get started with a few of the book recommendations that I do make. And always, as I make these links and when I talk, I think about these things and then I always put them in the show notes. So all you have to do is look, if you're listening to this in iTunes or on Libsyn or any of those, is just look in the little parentheses after the episode. It will say like 040 or something like that. Just go to that podcast. Just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts and then just find the one that matches up with that episode, which is just 040, whatever it might be. And you'll see all of the links that I do recommend. It will also allow you to go back to look at previous episodes and previous links as well. And of course, I'll always update those for you to get you the very best of the best. So please never feel like you're missing out. Do the audiobook, or sometimes there's even a Cliff Notes based version, right? There's kind of like that short version. All right, so let's get to question number 2. Question number 2 is from Danny. Danny asks, what's a few exercises I can do before leaving the house for work? So great question, and I like the initiative. I really do. I think it's fantastic that you're willing to set aside maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes to do some exercises. So let's get to some exercises that aren't as maybe interesting to do, but if you do them at the start of your day, you're more likely to do them. So save your formal workouts for maybe during lunchtime or before work or after work. But let's get into some things that you can just do for 5 minutes or so that might not make you sweat as much or whatever it might be. So let's get into that. These are ones that I give a lot of people to strengthen their core. Because if your core is strong, you're less likely to get injured, you have less lower back pain, your body's going to be more supple, you're going to start to use the muscles in the way they were meant to use and not start compensating more with joint-based movement rather than muscle-based movement. So, beginner's version, you're going to do a plank. And a plank is simply forearms on the ground, legs stretched out straight, hips slightly above parallel to the ground to make sure there's no arch in that lower back. Just that neutral arch is what we're looking for. Absolutely perfect. Work up to 60 seconds for that plank. No need to really do more than that. You can always make it more challenging by lifting one leg up in the air, okay? You don't need to spend your entire 5 minutes planking. I see no need for that. All right. Another great exercise would be bridging. So bridging is lying on your back, arms across your chest or folded across your chest, or for a beginner, just flat on the ground, feet pulled under your knees like you're about to do a sit-up, and push your hips up in the air. So you're basically forming a diagonal from your head and shoulders up to your knees, and that is strengthening your glutes, lower back, a little bit of hamstrings in there. Those are the primary movers. And that's going to give you that nice, strong glute activation, which most people are missing, to be honest, because you're sitting down most of the day in your car, at your desk, and you're not activating those glutes, not even with running, a lot of people. So those are two great ones I like to start with. If you can, chops or even some hip swings to get your hip mobility going, those are great to do. Now, if you want something to actually rev your heart rate a little bit, meaning like, I want a little bit of a metabolic boost before I hop in the shower, that's nice as well. So that's a little different. That would be, for me, simple mountain climbers. Mountain climbers are fantastic. Push-up position. Don't pull your chin into your chest. Keep your eyes looking basically down at the ground and just chin parallel to your body or neutral spine. And you're just going to pump those legs away. Try not to let that front foot touch. Keep it off the ground in the air, one foot in the back. Or you could do jumping jacks, or you can do burpees. All of those are fantastic. Just do them for 30 to 60 seconds, wait a minute, and repeat for as much time as you have time for. All right, I hope that answers your question. If you can do those, absolutely fantastic and good for you. All right, question number 3 is from Amber. Amber asks, should I take vitamin D in the summer? So, good question. We're still in the winter as this podcast is actually being filmed. But this is a deeper question, and I'll get to it on a later show. How long should you take supplements for, right? So we'll answer that because I need more time to be able to get deep into that topic because that varies wildly per person. And there's some supplements that you might always want to stay on and some that you only need to use for a very short period of time because that's what they were meant to be done for. Okay, so for vitamin D though, this is vitally important. And the reason is from essentially October to May, above I mentioned it in the previous podcast, so please do listen to the Friday review podcast before this. Vitamin D during those months, from October to May, during we're above the equator, but where Atlanta, Georgia is, and above, it's shown that the sun is not strong enough to actually give your skin a little bit of a tan, a little bit of that melanin, and not enough to synthesize vitamin D from the sun. So, what I'm saying is this, at least during those months, you're going to most likely need some supplemental vitamin D. Whether it's from food, supplemental vitamin D foods, most likely though, you'll have to get some type of supplement unless you travel and you get a little bit of a tan and a little bit of sun. But I will tell you this, and this is pretty amazing, and I said I'm going to do a future podcast just on vitamin D because it's that important. It honestly is that important for anti-cancer, anti-aging, wellness, and weight loss. It's so vitally important. And the thing is, it's so easy to use, right? Whether it's from a good functional medicine vitamin D or naturally from the sun. Okay. But having said that, I test lots of people for vitamin D and I test them during the summer. And what do I find? Really, I would say only about 5 to 10% of the people, even during the summer, reach the optimal amount of vitamin D, which is about in the 50 to 70 range on a lab, and the lab is typically 32 to 100. So it's that median range right in that middle right there, which is optimal range, and even during the summer, people aren't at optimal ranges. Why? Well, there's a few reasons. One is you're really not getting that much sun and not as much as you think. Just because you go outside and your face gets a little sun and your arms, well, it's full body vitamin D. I mean, you need most of your body exposed, like as if you were in a bathing suit. And how often are you in a bathing suit during the summer? Most people still work. Okay. The other part is you might not be absorbing vitamin D, and that's even a bigger question, meaning like you need things like calcium and magnesium, vitamin K. You need a lot of other substrates and things that can help channel and synthesize vitamin D into the cells and into the body. So that's important as well. It's good to look at both, which means this. If you're taking 5,000 IUs of vitamin D per day and your levels are still low, I don't think I would take more. I would simply look at why am I not optimizing my vitamin D? Why am I not able to fully utilize this in my tissues and my blood? That's what I would look at. So I would say this. I would take probably vitamin D potentially year-round based on your blood lab work. And again, testing your vitamin D is under $100. Doing that once a year during let's say January, February, or March, fantastic to do. But then you also might want to test it in the summer and see if you're actually optimized. And the reason is during the summer, you might just need, instead of 5,000 IUs, you might just need 1,000 IUs or 1,500 to keep you to that optimal range. I hope that answers your question. So yes, it is a little vague, and that's because it all depends on bio-individuality, right? What's right for you. But for the most part, people will be able to dramatically drop their vitamin D during the summer. But again, based on your lab test, you may be able to eliminate it completely or just drop it down, like I said. Again, if you don't have the money to be able to do this, well, you can at least closely approximate by taking somewhere between 2,500 and 5,000 units for full-grown adults over 150 pounds, to maybe dropping down to 1,000 IUs during the summer to just be safe if you don't want a lab test. All right, thank you everyone for tuning in today to another Cabral House Call. I appreciate all of your questions, and I look forward to answering more in the future. Thank you for just tuning into the Cabral Concepts. We've been getting a lot of questions lately about what next? What can I do next? And so what I'd like to say is if you want to take your wellness, weight loss, or anti-aging goals to that next level, I'd say this. We have 3 options for people to start with, and you can just see if it's the right fit for you. What we do is we have the ability for you to simply click the Start Here button on the StephenCabral.com website, and you can choose 3 options, the best one that fits your needs. The first one is simply getting more details on how we work with clients in our wellness practice. So it could be options on functional medicine lab testing, it could just be on free recipes. We have our exact workout templates, everything that you need to just get started. The second level is completing the Dr. Cabral detox. Anywhere from 7, 14, or 21 days, it's the absolute best way to lose weight and improve your wellness. And we guarantee it. I mean, there's very few people that do guarantee their work. We absolutely guarantee that you will get results with this. And the third way is that you can do complete personalized wellness planning. And that includes choosing one of the functional medicine labs that we have on the website, or multiple if you would like, getting those labs shipped to you, completing the lab right at home, and then we send you in about 3 weeks after that a complete personalized wellness plan that includes everything our wellness clients and weight loss clients get at our Boston practice. So all you have to do is simply go to StephenCabral.com, click on the Start Here button, and you can get started and choose the level that works for you.